First things first, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but bear with me. I thought it a pretty important video to make. So I wrote this article last week on LinkedIn and it was about forgetting goal setting and doing something else instead. Well, in my short 23 years of being on this planet, I've had multiple ideas of dream jobs, vocations, from singing on stage to a WWE wrestler. I know it's hard to believe, but I wasn't close to being any of them, but we must go on. They were just dreams. Found my passion and lost it. I found my purpose and changed it. But I've noticed a trend in my life that rather than setting certain outcomes and goals, following my intuition has sort of got me there, kinda. Well, enough with. So I've always wondered what the best technique is for setting goals. In the past, I've set 1 year goal, 2 year goal, 5 year, 10 year, and none of them have worked. I've learned that I can barely plan my Saturday night out, let alone my 10-year goals. And that's just me. Maybe it's different for other people. I'm not that sort of person that can crush it. And for me, only a couple things are currently working and have worked in the past. One of those things has led me to Stoicism. I know you're thinking, what is Stoicism? Believe it or not, Stoicism is this strange philosophy. They have a specific focus on living a virtuous life that leads to less suffering. In other words, basically the Stoics believe that there are things that we have control over, there's things that we have no control over, and then there's things that we have some control over. Stoicism was founded in Athens and practiced by the likes of Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, all these very powerful emperors at the time. So focusing on that Stoic principle, this is how I changed my method to goal setting. The Stoics believe that the most achievable goals are the ones that you have control over versus the ones you don't have any control over. For example, setting the goal, I will get the top grades in my class, doesn't really make sense because you don't really have control over that goal. But changing the goal to something internal, saying I will study for 2 hours a day, which focusing on that internal process may lead to that external outcome rather than focusing on the external outcome. So when I've been doing that, my chances of hitting the original goal and the original external outcome increased exponentially. So after this whole delve into Stoicism, this led me to a TED Talk by Tim Ferriss, which I'll link below. Anyway, Tim is from America and he does a lot of self-experimentation and he's overcome his greatest issues in life through this technique of Stoicism called fear setting. So Tim has overcome his greatest issues in life and has had his biggest breakthroughs, becoming a New York Times bestseller and also making his best business decisions by using Stoicism. In Tim's TED Talk, he mentions why we should define our fears rather than our goals. This led him to an exercise called fear setting. The process helps him define the fear that is holding him back from taking action and having a massive breakthrough in his life or in his business. In my experience, usually following my fear, like right now, it's been 9 months to a year until I shot a video. And a lot of it was just fear of putting myself out there and fear of being judged. And when I got this itch the whole time telling me to do it, but I was making up excuses and resistance due to fear, and overcoming that fear and using this fear setting is usually my biggest breakthroughs as well. Following my fear is normally a good indicator of what step I should take next. It's very funny when you also are talking to people in the conversation and you mention the sentence, you know that thing that you really want to do, but you're just not doing it. No one can really look you in the eye when you say that. Everyone kind of knows what they want to do and know which direction they want to head in, but most of the time it's fear holding them back. So rather than defining your goals, why not define your fears? Now, some fears are completely rational and you should not go near them. Some fears are meant to keep us alive and safe, but some fears act as a comfort zone to keep us from pursuing what we actually want to do. And I'm currently reading a book called The Art of War. In The Art of War, Stephen Pressfield mentions that if you're paralyzed by fear, it is a good sign, not a bad sign. Fear is good. Fear is like an indicator. It's self-doubt. Fear tells us what we have to do. Remember one rule of thumb by Stephen Pressfield. The more scared we are of a certain work or calling, the more sure we can be we have to do it. So after applying these crazy Stoic principles, it has helped me overcome some pretty big challenges and breakthroughs, and hopefully you get something from it as well. I am not Oprah Winfrey, I am certainly not Tony Robbins, and I do not have all the answers, but these are certain criteria that I have implemented lately. Hopefully you can use them too. So rather than focusing on external goals, I'm going to keep my mind on the internal goals and the process and what I can control, do things that scare me off. They'll probably lead me to somewhere that's okay. Anyway, give it a go. Let me know how you get on. And as Jersey Grezarek said in Tim Ferriss's talk, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. Follow your fear, control what you can. Let me know how you get on. Now, if you want any of the information on the books or Stoicism, I've linked them all down below, and Tim Ferriss's talk as well. Any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to reply if anyone actually answers the comments. Yeah, thank you, and farewell.